Hello. So, I just finished watching Elementary on demand because it premiered yesterday, but I was sick, so I missed all my shows. Anyway, so it's gonna be like a little review of it because I posted a video before about what my thoughts of where it's gonna be. And contrary to what I said, I quite like it a lot actually. And I don't like comparing shows like the BBC's version of Sherlock and the CBS version for Elementary. It's quite different, but I think that a lot of people will appreciate the way they've made it. I found myself laughing and I love the stuff that they did because it's actually quite good. I won't say it's brilliant, but massive potential for where it could go. I was iffy about the whole Joan Watson thing because I'm very true to the way Arthur Conan Doyle wrote Sherlock Holmes and how he wrote Watson as a man and an army doctor, but at least they did make it that Joan Watson, but as you found out in the episode, spoiler alert here, she kind of got fired from her job for making messing up and like killing the patient. So that was interesting. One of the beginning scene when Joan meets Sherlock for the first time in his home, he has all these televisions on, and I like to see that as the way his mind's like, you know how I don't want to compare it. You know how in BBC Sherlock, how Sherlock's mind palace, he has all these different areas and his mind flickers from this to the next. It was pretty cool. He had like a whole bunch of TVs scattered across the room and they were on all different movies or channels or whatever. Then they talk and then he goes out, he says something that you thought was just something he was actually saying to her, like it was like basically about love at first sight. Then a second later she drops her bag and one of the TVs comes on because I guess he drops a remote or something, and those exact line he just said was what happened. And I was like, what the fuck? But it was so awesome and cool, and I was like, oh my gosh, this show, it seems cool so far. And then we know how sometimes Sherlock gets moody, and I like the way they showcase that too, because he something went wrong with the case and he knew it was something wrong with the case, but the police had basically closed the case and said that something so and so happened. I don't want to say this because I already spoiled one part, but it was, and he looked really like sad, like a little boy. Johnny Lee Miller did a fantastic job at that, and he was so upset. He ended up wrecking Joan's car, and it was crazy, and he ended up in jail for doing that. And you were like, wait, what? What's gonna happen now? I hope they don't like just mess up this episode. Apparently, but then they ended up solving the case with Joan's help, because she was like, there's something wrong here, and I want to help him because she's his companion of sorts, because sent from his father. Did you see that? You saw that in the promo that she was his companion to help him with his drug addiction or whatnot. And so to release his adrenaline rush, because he was also angry, he wrecked her car and took a guy who he had just confronted and said was the killer, who was the victim's husband. And it was like, whoa. But I really think the show shows potential, a lot of potential. It's not Sherlock, like, in the sense of how brilliant and like crazy and, you know, that BBC's is, but it has a lot of the things that I think people like if they like Sherlock Holmes in any sense, whether it's through the books or through the way we have seen it in the British world. But I think this is much better than the movies that have come out, like with Robert Downey Jr. and why can't I think of his name right now? Jude Law. Yeah, those ones aren't. They are to an extent true, but those are more like humor. Like this is more intense. I think it gives more inside look of Sherlock Holmes' life and a different viewpoint of Watson's. And I think it'll be good. And she figured thing out in this episode. She said that it was a woman who drove him to the point of his drug addiction problem again. And my immediate thought was, it's Irene Adler. It has to be Irene Adler. And I'm not so fond of Irene at all, really, because she's kind of she's very sneaky. And so I was like, are they bringing her to the table this early in the game? But we'll see if that's what it is, or it could be someone else. But I think anyone who likes anything dealing with Sherlock should definitely give the show a chance, because it's really good, and it's not too bad, actually. And I was surprised about that, because I had so many feelings about it. Like I didn't know. But can't judge a book by its cover. Can't judge the TV by its promo. And one more thing that I really liked, when Joan went upstairs, because she felt the honey from the bee seeping down from the ceiling, and he was sitting up top on a rooftop with all the bees in there, and apparently he's writing a book. She was looking at him weird, because I'm writing a book, and he said the title was a pretty long title, and it's like an observation of bees without their queen, and he's like, I'm writing it in here, and how it's like, oh my god, it's like the Mind Palace. But he's writing everything in his head, and me as a writer, I felt like a connection with that, because that's how I write too. I have a whole bunch of stuff written in my head for chapters away, even though I'm somewhere else in the present. And he's like, I'm on chapter 19, would you like to hear a few paragraphs of it? And I was like, that's funny. But yeah, definitely check it out. It's very different than probably what you think, or what you think it's gonna be about. But definitely check it out. I'm definitely gonna do more of these review blogs after I watch each episode, or probably like I did today, the day after it premieres. So yeah, you should, if you want to watch more of these, and subscribe if you like. But I will see you next week. Bye.